welcome to another exciting edition of American Warrior Radio, the place to be for news, notes, interviews, and current events for all issues military and veteran related. If you or someone you know has ever worn the uniform of the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, or National Guard of Reserves, you've come to the right place. American Warrior Radio, right here on the Talk to Me station, AM 1060 WMEL, and we're online worldwide at 1060WMEL.com, sponsored by AVET Project. Folks, this program is all about supporting our troops and their families, both past and present. So please, get comfortable, grab a beverage, don't forget that pen and paper, because we're always efforting to bring you important information that you can use and share with others. With that said, let's roll down the runway and get this show off the ground. You all know me. I'm Garen Cohn. I'm an Air Force veteran, a retired legal advocate for veterans, and founder of AVET Project. But you also know that I never fly through the airwaves alone.
Good morning. I'm Glenn McGuffey. I'm retired Air Force, and I'm the retired manager of the Brevard County Veteran Services team, where it was my honor to help our veterans and eligible dependents obtain benefits earned by the veteran service to our great nation for over 22 years. And with that, I want to tell you, we got a quick, fast-paced program today, and I'm going to let Garen kick it off here.
We're preempted by basketball, so we're going to have a short segment today, but it's going to be jam-packed, so get ready. Glenn, if somebody has an issue with the VA matter, how can they contact you and get some guidance?
You can email me at Glenn, Glenn, at AVETproject, AVETproject.org. That's Glenn at AVETproject.org. And I'll get with you and we'll go from there.
Outstanding. And just a quick announcement here. All you listeners of American Warrior Radio know and understand that AVET Project is non-political and non-religious, so we want to take a second and restate that during a previous episode where a Marine who's running for public office was interviewed, no implied endorsement of his candidacy was intended or implied. I got to get to this, Glenn, because Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and if you don't have plans, you do now. You're going to begin hearing the promos on the big 1060 WMEL, but it's February 14th at the Doubletree by Hilton, Cocoa Beach Oceanfront. I want you to go online, AVETproject.org. Click on the events tab. You can find out all about this phenomenal event. It's from 10 to 1. It's going to be a blast. There's so much fun I couldn't begin to cover it. We also have this on a regular basis, Glenn.
Yes, the Space Coast Community Law School, free legal seminars.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. And this week
it's free.
And it's free. This week is Election Law, Evolution of Voting Rights. Should be very interesting. Presented by Lori Scott, who's the supervisor of elections, and David Gunter, Esquire, that means he's a lawyer. And it's at the Moore Justice Center. You can contact them at www.sccls.com or call at 321-269-6833. And again, Election Law, Evolution of Voting Rights this Thursday at the Moore Justice Center.
It's free. Go to sccls.com and get registered. We want to thank Britta and Telfer Faraday, Anderson, and Hawkins for all they do to help our community in that way. We got a lot to get to here, and I want to introduce our first in-studio guest. For all those of you that are waiting for Heal the Warrior, Heal the Country with Dr. Scott Fairchild, just hang on, because we want to bring you somebody that's been a wonderful supporter of AVET Project. And not only that, he has delicious pizza and so much more. It's Richard Higgins. Thanks for joining us again.
Glad to be here.
Hey, you're with Marco's Pizza. You own a couple of the local franchises, right?
Yes, I've grown to 4 stores over the last 3 years, from Cocoa down to Palm Bay.
And I just want to brag about you for a minute because you have been incredibly supportive of AVET Project in our efforts to help our military family. And I could go through the entire list, but thank you so much for your ongoing support. And the thing of it is, for everybody that doesn't know, you've got the 2 locations. You got one on North Wickham. Where are some of the others?
I got one on 4300 South Babcock is our newest location. It's been there only 2 months, and it's doing really good. We're doing a lot of help in the neighborhood. We just helped the Field of Dreams over in West Melbourne. We helped them raise $300 for their opening weekend by donating some pizza, and they sold it.
Outstanding. And you still have the store at Eastern Florida State College?
Yes, we have Eastern Florida State College in the Melbourne campus and the Cocoa campus now. So we've raised over $10,000 for their scholarship funds last year alone.
Outstanding. Wow. Again, it's Richard Higgins from Marco's Pizza here locally. I know when we talked, you said the push now is for everybody to order online.
Yes, at marcos.com, marcos.com. You can order online for the Super Bowl. You can order ahead of time. You can actually place your orders today and set up a time for them to be delivered right to your door, so they're there when your guests get there. And that way you don't have to take any time away from the big game.
So you mean I could go online right now after you're done listening to American Warrior Radio, unless you can multitask, then you can do it now, and I could schedule a delivery of a pizza for the day of the Super Bowl?
You sure can, and you can do that 365 days of the year, not just for the Super Bowl, but you could do that anytime. So if you have birthdays, any kind of catering events, you call us up or go online, you can just schedule it and then not have to worry about it.
And other than pizza, though, you've got a lot more than pizza. What else you got on the menu?
We got wings, we got chicken dippers, which are the boneless wings. We got salads. We got catering salads. We got pizza. We had an order just the other day of 30 salads. That's how good our salads are. Fresh cut every day, and people just love our salads.
Mm-hmm. And also throw in your hours of operation so folks will know when they can call in or go online.
Of course, we're open up at 11 a.m. and we're open till 10 p.m. during the week, and then on Fridays and Saturdays till 11 p.m. But Marcos.com is open 24/7, and you can schedule anytime you want.
Okay, but obviously within that window is when you'd make deliveries or have food available for pickup.
Of course. Marcos will, the website is real intelligent. It remembers everything. It remembers who you are once you register, remembers your last order, and it only lets you order when we're open, of course.
That's pretty slick. And it's easy enough to register. Just go to marcos.com.
That's true. Marcos.com, and then put in your zip code. It'll bring up the store closest to you. We have, like I said, we have stores in Cocoa. We have it in Melbourne, in Palm Bay, and there's even one in Rockledge that another buddy of mine owns, but I'll give him a plug anyways.
Excellent. We're all one big family, right?
Exactly.
I want to mention that there was a television show on last night, Undercover Boss. That was pretty impressive, and it featured your COO of Marco's Pizza. What do you think of the episode?
Yes, Brian Stevens, our COO, was on there. He was very humbleized by all the hard work that we do out in the field, and he really got a good feel for it. He's going to make all the corporate guys work in the store once a month. So now all the corporate guys are going to be able to see what we do on the front lines, much like the guys do for us, and it's really eye-opening.
Impressive. And I mentioned I was going to brag up Marco's. You've done so much in the past, but one of the most recent things that you did was provided AVET Project a bunch of gift cards that we could hand out to the troops, and we served a whole lot of Coast Guardsmen. And they're kind of often ignored out there in the realm of, security for this country. So thank you so much for that, Richard. Really appreciate that.
No problem. Anytime you guys need me, I'm there for you. I got plenty of pizza. Not a whole lot of money, but plenty of pizza.
Outstanding. And you mentioned just in passing that you do catering because you were at the big bike fest, the A-Bait Bike Fest.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did. We went to the bike fest, and we do catering. So any small companies that need catering, we can help you out. We have warmers and everything available at no charge. Just call us up and we'll be able to help you out for charity projects as well. If you want to become part of any festival that's going on and you want to raise money for any reason, come to me. Just get a hold of me at one of my stores, and I'll be happy to show you a great way to make money selling our pizza, and we'll take care of all the pizza.
That's so cool. And in addition to your online contact for placing orders, for the old schoolers, give them a phone number out there, Richard.
We got in Melbourne, it's 259-8999, and over in Palm Bay, it is 608-3100.
Say those one more time.
That's 259-8999 and 608-3100.
Outstanding. And I also want to alert everybody out there that already orders from Marcos, and if you don't, you need to. Just go to marcos.com and get registered and order, whether you pick it up or have it delivered. But look for the box toppers. AVET Project's Valentine's Day is going to be featured on your boxes, and we want to thank you for that, too.
No problem. Yeah, look for those box toppers. They'll be on until the big event happens.
Outstanding. Richard Higgins from Marcos Pizza, thank you, brother, for all your support and for the delicious food you provide this community every day.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Hey, Glenn, we've got a lot to get to, but, you know, everybody waits to the end of the month to hear this next gentleman because he brings such wisdom and experience to the topic. It's called Heal the Warrior, Heal the Country. Go ahead and cue that music, Vince. Back in the studio here, we have Dr. Scott Fairchild with his segment, Heal the Warrior, Heal the Country. Welcome, Doc.
Hey, it's great to be back, and we're always focusing on healing the warrior, and today I thought I'd take a little opportunity to talk about something that sometimes disturbs me when I see our veterans coming into our office with bags and bags of medication. And so many are taking medicines, and then they're taking other medicines to counteract the side effects of the initial medicines, and you know, it's just sometimes frustrating. So back a few months ago, I had an opportunity to see to see a video that was called The Hidden Enemy. And it talks about medications, and it gives an entire history of medications all the way back to the beginning of psychiatry and the beginning of psychiatry in the military. It's very informative, and if you just go onto your browser and type in The Hidden Enemy, you'll get an opportunity to see it, and it is actually indicating that maybe some of these medications are actually stacked upon each other, may be contributing to the high suicide rates that we have in our veterans.
I would think that's a given, right?
Yeah, it sure seems to be.
The Hidden Enemy. You can check it online.
You can check it out online, and you know, it's so important to realize, and again, I'm not a physician, it's important to coordinate with your physician, but it is also important to get a second opinion sometimes. You know, oftentimes we get caught up with an opinion and we run down the road with it, and I know there's a lot of instances. I think of just a couple of days ago, my son slipped and hit his foot on the table, and went in at the emergency room from about 8 in the evening till 3 in the morning, and they told him that he had broken 2 bones in his foot. So he went for a couple of days and seemed to have a problem, and just the other day when I saw what seemed to be the bone sticking out the side of his toe, I said, you know, you might want to head back. So he headed back to the emergency room again, and lo and behold, they said, no, your toe's not broken, it's just dislocated. So they pulled it and popped it, and away he went. So it's so important. It applies to post-traumatic stress disorder. It applies to any malady that you may be diagnosed with. It's so important to get a second opinion. I realize sometimes individuals only have their VA insurance, but other people have TRICARE, Medicare, and they can get second opinions, and I strongly encourage them to do so, because sometimes sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, and sometimes, no, it may be a cigarette, or date myself, a Tiparillo.
Sure.
But you never know what it is, and so it's important to come back and ask the question again.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think it's vitally important to bring a list of your medications. You don't necessarily have to bring all the bottles. They'll tell you usually in their message, bring all the bottles with you when you come for your appointment. As long as you bring a list of your medications showing what they are, what the strength is, and how frequently you take them to your doctor's appointment, that can help avoid this over-medication or getting medications that don't go together well. And so I keep a copy of mine in my back pocket at all times in case I have an accident somewhere. As my grandmother used to say, put clean underwear on every day.
And have a list of your medications, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I also do that, and I recommend that to folks. In fact, I have a little rule that goes with my primary care physician, and he kind of humors me on it. I have my old man's pill box. Of course, I put a lot of vitamins and things in there too, natural things that help heal you. And I have my old person's pill box, and I tell him that, if you're going to put a new one in there, my requirement is that you take 2 out.
I love it.
Well, you're a practicing clinical psychologist. You have your PhD, not an MD, but at Baytree Behavioral Health, you have MDs that obviously as you treat people and they need medicinal interventions, then you can do that.
We do, and we're very fortunate to have one particular psychiatrist who also focuses on a holistic approach, on a natural approach. And for all of you out there, and I would suspect a good portion of our veterans out there who have trauma or have PTSD, the result of the trauma, you'll probably experience some difficulty with sleep. And I can tell you that I just returned from a long trip to Japan and Thailand, and I particularly used this natural item for the trip, and it was very, very beneficial. And I'm referring to liquid melatonin. And the liquid melatonin is so beneficial. I've got about 80% of my veterans sleeping through the night. One dropper full of that Puritan's Pride liquid melatonin, that cherry flavor, and one dropper full of that, and they're out for the night. A Marine told me, actually, he said, Doc, this stuff works. And I said, well, how do you know that? He said, well, Doc, you told me to take one dropper full. I'm a Marine, so I just took 2 droppers full. And he said, darn, Doc, I slept for 10 hours.
Well, apparently it's effective, but it is something that's so pervasive, probably throughout the general population, but certainly with combat vets, is that PTSD, that post-traumatic stress disorder. So much so, and getting back to you, Richard, thank you for hanging around here. It was even featured in the Undercover Boss story regarding one of the delivery drivers. I think his father was a retired Army and he had PTSD.
Yes, it was, Garen, and it was incredible to see that he was helping his dad, and at Marco's Pizza came to their aid, and actually that delivery driver got a brand new car to help him out because he's doing so much for his father and his PTSD.
So, Doc, it's everywhere, isn't it? I mean, I don't want to say that it's some critical mass, but those that are affected by it are dramatically affected by it often.
It is pervasive, and and when you experience those symptoms, or when you've experienced a trauma, 30 to 60 days out, you're going to start experiencing those avoidance symptoms, those re-experiencing symptoms, those difficulties with nightmares, intrusive thoughts, those difficulties with depression, those difficulties with sleep. And so as those things come about, it's so important to step in and get some help and get some support. And help and support doesn't always mean a bag full of medications. Yes, there are some medications. I know many of our veterans benefit from Lexapro, which helps them with their anxiety and their depression. Some of them benefit from Trazodone, which helps them sleep also. But we don't want to get on some of the heavy ones. The things. It concerns me when folks come in and say they've taken Ambien and found themselves waking up walking in the ocean. Or they have, pizza crumbs on their chest. They get up in the middle of the night and go eat.
They don't even know
they don't even know they've done it. In fact, if you go online, you can type in Ambien and sleepwalking, and you'll see an interesting video of a young lady who actually had a bowl of Cheerios in the middle of the night. The unfortunate thing is those Cheerios were in the toilet bowl, and she was eating them out of the toilet bowl. Oh, wow. So those are not things we like to do. That's why I like to be doing the natural things first. I mean, obviously there are times when medications and only medications are appropriate, but let's try the natural first.
And Glenn, that's what we do with PR&R. Thanks to Doc and some other folks that get involved, is we try and push them towards things that are non-medicinal in nature.
Exactly, and in the PR&R, people get a wealth of help for free. At the PR&R, and it's, I help them with claims issues. The doc obviously helps them with the psychiatric issues, and there's others there. We've got Joanne helping them with counseling and living issues, which is a holistic approach to things.
Very much so. When you're looking at the entire body, and if you're looking at sleep, that's one area. But looking at getting along with other people, looking at planning on dealing with the holidays as the holidays come up, looking at dealing and addressing anniversary issues when anniversaries of these bad experiences surface. How do I handle it? What do I do? Looking at dealing with the couples issues and how PTSD can have a serious impact on relationships in couples, as well as an impact on your children and generations to come. So it's so important to address it early, and there's so many other natural ways to deal with it. We can use the eye movement desensitization and
That's that
reprocessing.
EMDR?
EMDR. It makes a big difference. We can do neurofeedback and brain retraining. We can do SPECT imaging of the brain, which actually shows pictures of the PTSD in the brain. And we can do various types of individual therapy. Brain spotting is a new one that's been very effective. It's a very specific type of EMDR. So there are so many things out there that make a world of difference. And in a future show, I'll be talking about one of my veterans just came back. He was either headed for jail or the grave with a very serious drug abuse problem. In fact, his insurance policy for his vehicle had canceled him because he left so many cars in so many places he couldn't remember where he left them.
Wow.
And so he has found a program in Peru that is a 1-week program, is a holistic healing program with some natural substances, and he has come back a new man. And he's come back, a vegetarian. He's come back focused on his life, focused on his health. A couple times a week, he rides his bicycle 60 miles down to Vero and back, and that is not
that's hardcore.
That's hardcore. And so we're just looking into this. We know of a couple people who participated. As soon as I get some additional information, I may spend an entire show talking about this program and how it's available at low cost, several $100s. And it can be something that'll turn around your life.
We like those life-changing things. This is Heal the Warrior, Heal the Country with Dr. Scott Fairchild, heard every last Saturday of every month on American Warrior Radio. We've only got about 45 seconds left here, Doc, because we're really compressing this, Glenn. But you mentioned the self-medicating. When they don't necessarily seek medical or psychological treatment, they do it themselves.
It is so important to stay away from the alcohol, to stay away from the drugs. The self-medicating is so dangerous, is so dangerous. And, once someone comes off of that, they don't have a buffer. They've used it as a buffer. And, there's a little acronym that goes along with it. It's called SOBER, sober. And it's son of a something, everything's real. And so...
We like those kind of acronyms.
All of a sudden, everything comes at him and it's real. But we have to face the reality of it. We can't push it in the closet for the rest of our life. It does damage to the body, it does damage to the family, it does damage to the community.
And let me say real quick, when I was working at the County Veteran Service Office, I got way too many people coming after the VA had treated them with heavy-duty medications, and when they were in my office, they could barely speak, much less carry on a conversation that I thought was doing anything for them. Sometimes I had to have them come back so we could get something accomplished.
Well, Doc, thank you again for being here. I'm sorry we had to cut this short, but folks, just keep tuned in to AM 1060. Next Saturday, it'll be another brief version of American Warrior Radio. Glenn, before we leave, we always get this information out there.
Yeah, if you're a veteran experiencing a crisis, call the crisis line, 1-800-273-8255. Press 1 for veterans, and as always, don't forget, thank a vet.